All right, today, do that again. All right, today I'm going to be reacting to Nerd Science, and the video I'm going to be reacting to is, could Batman survive Spider-Man's villains by the YouTube channel Nerd Science. I'm looking forward to the second part 2 of Batman by Robert Pattinson. I like the first one. But anyways, man, let's check this out.
Dark Knight standing motionless on a gargoyle, rain slicking off the cowl, looking down at the streets below. But the skyline is wrong. This isn't the Gothic architecture of Gotham City. It's the Queensboro Bridge in New York. Today, we're dropping Batman into a gauntlet that defies his usual logic. We aren't asking if he can beat the Joker or Bane. We know he can. We're asking if a peak human with a specific set of tactical gadgets can survive the pseudo-scientific chaos of Spider-Man's rogue gallery. Here's the scenario. Batman has a standard Arkham City patrol loadout. That means smoke pellets, explosive gel, the cryptographic sequencer, and the freeze blast. But absolutely no preparation time. He does not know who he's fighting. He has no specific contingency plans for these enemies. And he has to fight them one after another without rest. This is a test of adaptability against impossible physics. The first threat is already moving through the sewers beneath him. And unlike Killer Croc,
I think Batman would win. I mean, he's Batman. What fight hasn't he won? I think he'll be able to beat all of them. I mean, he has all the he has the Batman suit. He has all the artillery around his belt and whatnot, and the Batmobile and everything else in his Batcave. So I don't know. That's just me, though.
This one doesn't just bite; it evolves. Round 1: the Lizard. Biological overclocking. The first opponent is Dr. Kirk Connors, also known as the Lizard. We're looking at a subject standing 6'8", weighing 450 pounds, comprised almost entirely of regenerative reptile tissue. In a straight brawl, Batman loses. The Lizard is faster, stronger, and his tail acts as a fifth limb that Batman's martial arts forms aren't designed to counter. But the real problem here is the healing factor. To regrow an arm that weighs roughly 10 kilograms in 10 seconds, the body would need to synthesize bone, muscle, and nerve tissue at a rate that defies standard metabolic models. This process would require a massive caloric explosion, generating an immense amount of waste heat. Scientifically, the Lizard shouldn't just be hungry. He should be boiling alive from the inside out.
Which, talking about Batman, by the way, I can't wait for Clayface to come out on HBO. That's going to be sweet, because I used to see Batman fight him on the animated series, Batman, as the voice of Kevin Conroy, rest in peace. And the Penguin, if you haven't seen the Penguin, it's a great series. It's a takeoff, or not a ripoff, but it's a carry on of what Penguin did after they fought in the Batman. Anyway,
body temperature during regeneration would spike dangerously high. This is where the detective mode comes into play. Batman would immediately see a thermal signature that looks less like a biological organism and more like a walking blast furnace. Standard percussive strikes, punches, and kicks are useless here. You are essentially hitting a wall of meat that heals faster than you can damage it. However, Batman carries the freeze blast, piece of technology derived from Mr. Freeze's weaponry. This is the hard counter. Reptilian physiology is generally poikilothermic, meaning it relies on external sources to regulate body temperature. If Batman hits Connors with a supercooled cryo grenade, it doesn't just trap him in ice. It forces a systemic metabolic crash. The chemical reactions required for that rapid regeneration rely on heat. By dropping the ambient temperature of the target, Batman effectively pauses the biological engine driving the Lizard's strength. It isn't about overpowering the monster. It's about exploiting the laws of thermodynamics to turn his own biology off. Batman survives this round, securing a rank S survival rating because his standard kit accidentally contains the perfect kryptonite for a hyper-regenerative reptile. But as the sewer water freezes, the air pressure in the room suddenly drops, and the shadows start to move on their own. Round 2.
Hell yeah.
The
I love
amorphous nightmare.
Tom
Batman
Hardy did
climbs
awesome
out of the
playing him.
sewers and immediately faces a
Tom Hardy did good playing him. I didn't like the third Spider-Man with Topher or whatever his name is playing him. It wasn't a good match, and that was a freaking joke. But Tom Hardy in this Venom, Tom Hardy's Venom, pretty good. Not only Venom looks awesome, but Tom Hardy also plays good playing him. And I'm going to stop saying Tom Hardy.
threat that defies his entire combat philosophy, Venom. This isn't a man in a suit. It is a symbiotic organism bonded to a host, Eddie Brock. Scientifically, we have to analyze the symbiote as a non-Newtonian fluid, specifically a shear thickening fluid. This is a tactical nightmare for Batman. His combat style relies on high-velocity strikes and impact force. Against a shear thickening material, the harder Batman hits, the harder the suit becomes. Furthermore, Batman relies on stealth, using shadows and fear to disorient opponents. The symbiote possesses 360-degree sensory awareness. It feels the environment in every direction simultaneously. There is no sneaking up on it, and smoke pellets are useless against an organism that doesn't rely on optical sight. Without knowledge of the symbiote's weaknesses, Batman's initial engagement goes poorly. He tries to strike, gets blocked by the fluid hardening, and takes massive damage from Venom's tendrils. This is a rank F survival scenario. The physical mismatch is absolute. However, Batman is an observer. He would notice that the suit ripples and destabilizes when metal clashes against metal, or when sirens pass by. This brings us to resonant frequency. Every material in the universe has a natural frequency at which it vibrates. If you expose a material to a sound wave matching that frequency, the amplitude of the vibrations increases until the structural integrity fails. The symbiote's molecular bonds are notoriously unstable in the 4 to 6 kilohertz range. Batman's remote electrical charge, REC gun, or specialized sonic batarangs can be modified to emit high-frequency pulses. He likely collapses a heavy industrial structure, like a construction scaffolding or a water tower. Not to crush Venom, but to create a chaotic, deafening cacophony of crashing metal. The sonic feedback loop disrupts the symbiote's ability to maintain a solid form, turning it into a chaotic puddle and exposing the human host beneath. Batman barely escapes this encounter, likely with broken ribs and a shattered armor plate, proving that while physics can be beaten, alien biology is a brutal teacher. He limps away, but the ground beneath his boots begins to vibrate, turning into loose, shifting sand. Round 3. Sandman. Granular physics. The vibration in the floor isn't an earthquake. The concrete itself seems to dissolve, losing its structural integrity and turning into a shifting, abrasive tide. This is Flint Marko, the Sandman. To understand why this fight's so dangerous for a martial artist, you have to look at the
I could see a solo Sandman movie or HBO series. I could see that happening.
physics of granular flow. Sand is a unique state of matter. It acts both as a fluid and a solid depending on how much stress you apply to it. If you pour it, it flows like water. If you compress it, the grains lock together in a phenomenon called jamming, creating a structure as hard as stone. When Batman throws a punch at Marco, one of two things happens. If he strikes loosely, his fist passes harmlessly through the particulate cloud, achieving nothing. If he strikes with maximum force, the sand particles instantly jam together upon impact. He isn't punching a person, he's punching a solid block of silicon dioxide. The kinetic energy doesn't transfer into the target, it reflects back into Batman's skeletal structure. Batarangs are even worse. They simply get swallowed by the mass. Even the explosive gel, a staple of the Arkham arsenal, is largely ineffective here. You can detonate a charge inside the Sandman, and while it will scatter his mass across the room, he controls each individual grain. He doesn't bleed. He just reforms. This is a scenario where brute force is mathematically impossible to apply. However, granular materials have a critical weakness. Their flow depends entirely on dry friction between particles. Batman needs to alter the coefficient of friction. He scans the environment, ignoring the giant sand fist trying to crush him, and looks for infrastructure. A New York alleyway or rooftop is full of water towers and fire hydrants. He needs water. This brings us to the science of saturation. When you add a small amount of water to sand, surface tension creates liquid bridges between the grains. This is why you can build a sandcastle. But if you fully saturate the mixture, you increase the mass significantly while destroying the material's ability to act as a lightweight fluid. The water fills the void between the grains, turning the agile Sandman into heavy, viscous mud. The physics of his movement change instantly. He goes from a flowing storm to a sluggish pile of sludge. The weight of the water drags him down, making it impossible for him to maintain a vertical form against gravity. Once Marco is wet and heavy, his reaction time plummets. Batman, having survived the initial onslaught, utilizes the last of his cryogenic pellets or simply waits for the mud to settle into a dense, immobile heap. The fight turns from a brawl into a chemistry experiment. By changing the environmental variables, Batman removes the Sandman's ability to function as a dynamic threat. It is a rank B survival scenario. Dangerous if you try to punch your way out, but manageable if you understand that you're fighting a geological feature rather than a criminal. But just as the mud settles, the wall behind Batman explodes inward, and 4 mechanical shadows stretch across the debris. Round 4. Dr. Octopus, the mechanical mismatch. Out of the dust steps Otto Octavius. This is a radical shift from the previous threats. This is pure engineering. Dr. Octopus is armed with 4 telescoping tentacles made of a titanium steel alloy, each capable of lifting roughly 8 tons. This creates a massive mechanical mismatch for Batman. In the Arkham games, Batman often uses the Batclaw to pull enemies off balance or disarm them. Against Ock, that tactic is suicide. Let's look at the physics of torque and tensile strength. The Batclaw utilizes a monofilament cable with a high tensile rating, but it's anchored by Batman's own body weight, roughly 210 pounds plus armor. If Batman attaches a line to one of Ock's arms and tries to pull, the hydraulic PSI of the tentacle will instantly win that tug of war. Ock doesn't even need to strain. He simply retracts the arm, and Batman goes flying. The torque generated by Ock's actuators exceeds anything a human skeletal structure can withstand. If Batman tries to block a strike, the force of an 8-ton impact doesn't just break.
I'd be like, screw this, man. Even though I'm Batman and I'm fighting all these guys without break or rest, you need to start paying my ass. That's what I'd be like. If Batman and Superman, Iron Man, Spiderman, all the other superheroes, the Hulk, were real, you'd be like, if they were real, you think they'd actually be doing all that for free? No, you'd be like, you pay me to be an Avenger or Batman. And over top of that, they're all wearing tights, wearing all that armor.
The guard. It shatters the arm bones and collapses the rib cage. The tactical problem is reach and multitasking. Ock essentially fights with 5 brains, his own plus the semi-autonomous AI in each arm. He can block attacks from 4 different directions while simultaneously striking from 4 others. Batman cannot approach him. The reach of the tentacles creates a kill zone of about 20 feet that is impenetrable to physical entry. A frontal assault is a mathematical impossibility. However, Batman excels at electronic warfare. The strength of the arms is also their weakness. They require a neural interface to function. The arms are hardwired into Octavius's spine and controlled by his thoughts. This connection relies on signal transmission. Batman pulls the remote hacking device and the disruptor from his belt. He doesn't target the titanium alloy, which is indestructible to his gear. He targets the latency of the signal. In a fight, reaction time is everything. If Batman can flood the local wireless spectrum or hack the neural link's frequency, he can induce input lag. By jamming the neural signal, Batman forces the arms to desynchronize from Ock's brain. The tentacles become sluggish, reacting to commands that are already obsolete. Furthermore, the arms rely on optical and thermal sensors to track targets for the AI. A well-placed disruptor shot can blind individual actuators. Once Ock is fighting his own equipment, flailing against lag and sensor blindness, Batman closes the distance. The moment he gets inside the reach of the tentacles, Octavius is just an out-of-shape scientist. A single strike ends the encounter. This is a rank A survival scenario. It's high risk because one hit kills Batman, but it's also his comfort zone. He knows that every machine has an off switch, and he knows exactly how to find it. Round 5. Green Goblin. The psychology and chemical climax. With Octavius neutralized, the silence is short-lived. A high-pitched turbine whine cuts through the smoke, followed immediately by the acrid scent of ozone and burning propellant. This is the Green Goblin, Norman Osborn. He brings the one tactical advantage Batman struggles against most without specific preparation: total aerial superiority combined with high-yield ordnance. The physics of this engagement are terrifying. A standard pumpkin bomb packs a blast yield roughly equivalent to an MK2 fragmentation grenade, but concentrated in a compact spherical casing designed for flight stability. The Batsuit's carbon-dipped tri-weave titanium plating is engineered primarily for ballistic impact and blunt force trauma, not point-blank concussive thermobarics. A single direct hit doesn't just knock Batman down. The sheer overpressure wave would rupture internal organs and shatter bone regardless of the armor's exterior integrity. Furthermore, the thermal output of the plasma release exceeds the melting point of standard Kevlar. Coupled with the Goblin glider, which moves at speeds exceeding 90 miles per hour with vertical takeoff capabilities, Batman is effectively fighting a highly maneuverable fighter jet while standing exposed on a rooftop. However, this isn't just a hardware fight, it's a psychological one. Batman instantly recognizes the manic, erratic laughter echoing off the Queensboro Bridge. It's the same chaotic instability he faces with the Joker. Osborn is physically enhanced with the Goblin formula, giving him strength rivaling the Lizard, but his mind is fractured. This makes him dangerous, but it also makes him prone to arrogance. He plays with his food, swooping low to taunt, rather than maintaining a safe kill altitude. Batman needs to level the playing field. He utilizes the grapnel boost, a prototype mechanic from Arkham City that converts linear grapple momentum into massive vertical velocity. He launches himself upward, meeting the Goblin in the air. The science of the flight requires perfect stability. The glider relies on precise intake manifolds and gyroscopic stabilizers to maintain lift. A well-placed remote batarang into the turbine rotor creates catastrophic mechanical failure, disrupting the lift-to-drag ratio and fouling the propulsion. As Osborn struggles to regain control of his spiraling craft, Batman activates the Reconializer. His detective mode scans the chemical composition of the pumpkin bombs hanging on Osborn's bandolier. He identifies a volatile, chemically unstable primer. Batman doesn't need to punch Osborn, he needs to vibrate the volatile compounds. He switches his sonic emitter to a precise frequency designed to agitate the chemical bonds of the explosive primer. The goal is to trigger the munitions prematurely. He doesn't need a massive detonation, he just needs one bomb to detonate in the bag. The resulting explosion strips Osborn of his arsenal and forces a crash landing. This is a rank A survival scenario. High danger, but ultimately a victory of sabotage over insanity.
Oh yeah, man.
Batman stands amidst the wreckage of the Sinister Five. He clears the gauntlet, but not because he's stronger. He wins because he treats every fight as a solvable physics problem. Against the Lizard's regenerative biology, he weaponized thermodynamics. Against Venom's alien resonance, he utilized sonic amplitude. He defeated Sandman's granular state with saturation, Dr. Octopus's mechanical arms with signal latency, and the Green Goblin with aerodynamic sabotage. The question isn't whether Batman can punch harder than Spider-Man's villains. It's whether they can survive a man who weaponizes the scientific laws governing their own powers. But that's just our analysis. Could Batman survive your favorite villain? Leave a comment below with who he should fight next. Until then, the Dark Knight grapples away, disappearing into the New York shadows.
All right, man. That's my reaction to Nerd Science. Yeah, man. Thanks for watching my reaction. See you on the flip.